Hi friends, and welcome to Create with Miss Cristy, where we believe any time can be art time, and we also think that it should be as easy as parents as pressing play and walking away. Today's Watercolor Resist project we're going to be working on is just going to use a few simple materials, such as a gray crayon, a white crayon, red crayon, orange, yellow, green, blue, and here I'm going to show you how you can make sure that you have the right colors. Indigo, which is more of a purplish blue color, and then a violet. These colors are all going to go on a rainbow that we make in this picture. Now on top of the crayons, we are also going to need some watercolors. Hopefully yours look prettier than mine. My 1-year-old got into them and made them a little messy. Now you're also going to need a bowl of water to rinse your paintbrush with, and a paintbrush. If you have a little bit wider one, that would work great, but if not, the one that comes in your watercolors would be perfect. All right, let's get started with this Watercolor Resist. The first thing we're going to do is draw a straight line about a third of the way up your paper. This is going to create the skyline, or the baseline for all of those skyscrapers we're going to put in the background. Now these skyscrapers are going to be super simple shapes, just some rectangles and squares, maybe a triangle if you want to, but that's kind of my favorite part about this project. It's just very simple shapes that you're going to draw. So my first rectangle got a little crazy on me, but you'll see I fixed that a little bit in a minute. My second one, I did a tall rectangle and then put an even taller tiny rectangle and then a stick on top, kind of like a flagpole. Now I wanted to have different levels of buildings, so the next building I made shorter and wider, more like a square. And then I decided to put a long flat rectangle on top of that. And then on top of that, another square. That one's more of a square shape, I would say. So again, we're just kind of stacking up different shapes. If you wanted to use a triangle or a, you could stack like bigger stacks if you wanted to. Oh, this one I decided to do even smaller. And then I branched it back up by doing a taller skyscraper again. I just really like this. Now we're using that gray crayon again, if you missed that. This is just going to make a really cool backdrop for our rainy sky. I'm telling you guys, this is like such a fun project. I have maybe already done this like 4 different times. It's been so much fun. Now I'm going in and I'm creating the outside appearance of these buildings. So a lot of skyscrapers have a lot of windows on them, and I thought it would be a really cool effect if we made some of the windows look like they were lighting up and some of them not. So I want all of the building to have some sort of windows on them, but I don't want them to look the same either, because that would get kind of boring, right? So on the first one I did staggering squares, kind of almost like bricks is what it looks like, but my idea was windows. And then in this next one, I just did tiny little square windows all the way down, 2 pairs per row, like it was a fun 5-story building. And the next one, I did straight lines on that top tier, kind of like it was an overlooking balcony. Like, have you ever heard of those skyscrapers where you can go on like the top floor and it's just nothing but windows that you look out of? That was my idea there. And then I put these big, giant, almost like what you would see in houses, those style of windows, where it has a square and then the plus sign in the middle of it. And then I did some lower ones and decided to put a door in the middle of this one. I don't know if skyscrapers really have doors like that, but I just thought it would be a fun look. Okay, now moving on to the 4th building, I decided to do a straight line across and then lines down just along that top, like all the windows are just on that top, and then a door at the bottom. Now for this tall skyscraper, I thought I would do kind of what I don't know, I think of as the standard. I did all these different floors, so these horizontal lines, and then I went in with vertical lines to split the windows up, so it looks like just a whole building of windows. And for this final one over here, I did 3 squares per level. I said, you guys, we're just basically using squares and rectangles. If you were feeling adventurous, you could put some triangles in there. It would be great. You could add some flags on top of your buildings. Now, this is the super fun part, you guys. So when we go to do our rainy nighttime sky, this crayon is going to stand out. Okay, we'll talk more about the science, quote unquote, behind that. But for right now, you know, when it's really rainy, even if it's daytime outside, it usually gets like cloudy and dark. So you usually have to have your windows on in your house. I thought it would be really fun if we just made certain windows light up. Not all of them, but just some of them, like some people are home or some offices are open, some of them aren't. But it will give a really fun effect to our final product when it's done. So you can just go through and pick whatever random order of windows you would like open or shining by putting some yellow in there. Now, like I said, we're going to talk about how the crayon and water works, and that is very simple. So our crayons are wax. Wax is an oil. Our colors that we're using for our paint are called watercolors. That means they use water. Now, if you've heard this before, I'm sure you have, but water and oil do not mix together. If you were to pour the two into a cup, they would stay separated in 2 different levels. So what happens here is anywhere we put our crayon, the watercolor will not cover over top of. So our crayon's gonna stand out above whatever color we put over top of it. And when we get to the final crayon step on this, you are just going to see when we put this watercolor over, it is like a magic experience, because we are going to go with these invisible raindrops to these really cool nighttime or daytime pouring rain, gray cloud sky. It is just awesome, you guys. I am so excited for you to get to that part. Now for right now though, so we just finished that. Now we're gonna move on to our rainbow. Now who here remembers our rainbow colors? Have you guys heard of the Roy G. Biv, right? It starts with R for red. So the first outside color in every single rainbow is red. So that is the color we are starting with. Red is also one of our primary colors. That means it's one of our base colors that we use to make all kinds of different colors and shades of colors. So we are going to start with this red, and we are just going to start it. You could put it on the left hand side. You could put your rainbow in the middle. I chose the right hand side of my paper because that's where I felt like with how I drew my buildings, it would fit the best. So I just started with a slight curve, because our lines are going to get more U-shaped or curve shape as we go. Now we said Roy G. Biv, so red and then orange. Orange is our next color. It's actually one of our secondary colors, and we'll talk more about that once we hear what our next color is going to be. But next we put the orange, and feel free, rub it right next to that red. Make sure you are pushing fairly hard when you color for your rainbow, because we don't want any of that watercolor to be able to sneak in any cracks or pores. So if we make sure that we do a nice heavy coloring, it'll give us that awesome end effect that we're looking for. All right, you guys, good job. And if you need to slow down, if this is going too fast, remember I speed up my coloring so that our videos aren't too long, okay? So all right, we said red, orange, and now yellow. Now we're going with yellow. Now yellow is another one of our primary colors, and you know what's cool? So we have red as our primary color, yellow is a primary color. Guess what color they make when you combine red and yellow together? You guys know? orange. That's right. The color that is sandwiched in between the two is the color that they make when we combine red and yellow together. Now we're going to go to green. So Roy G. Now we're to we did the red, orange, yellow. Now the G for green. And we're just going to put another. Notice how the lines are getting more curved, more U-shaped. It's like we're being able to see more of our rainbow in our picture as we get lower down on the colors. We've got our green in there. And again, make sure you press it right up against the yellow, color it nice and thick. Get a good coat of wax on there. That way our watercolors don't try to seep in. Now after that, let's see, we have Roy, G, green. Now is our B for blue. Now check your crayon. Make sure you got the right one, that you didn't accidentally pick up your indigo, because they look an awful lot alike on the crayons. This one is our blue. Now here's another. We have our yellow, our primary color, and our blue is another primary color. So if we have our yellow and blue together, what is sandwiched in between? If we combine our yellow and blue, it will become the green. Now comes our indigo. Our indigo is that blue purple. Now this is kind of a fun thing if we were to make a circle out of this. Now we would have our primary colors touching each other, would be the red and the blue, and they're fading into each other, which becomes a purple color. But of course the one closest to the blue is going to be more blue than purple. And then we finally get to our violet. So Roy G. Biv. We have red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, and violet. Look how beautiful of a rainbow you guys are making. Isn't that gorgeous? I love how bright and vibrant it is. It just looks great, you guys. All right, next we're going to go on our far right. Now it is time to make it rain. And the way we do that is we are going to make dashes, little dots, all the way down our paper till we get below our skyscrapers. And then we're going to draw a circle with curves. Now, you guys can't see my white, can you? So let me show you with blue what that looks like. So we make these tiny dashes like raindrops falling from the sky. And then when they land, they plop on the ground and make a splatter. So we use a circle and some outside lines to make it look like our raindrop is hitting the ground. And as you go across, I just want you to put those plops at different levels, so that way it looks like it's really splattering all over your page. Now you're going to continue to do that all the way across the page, just like I'm going to do with you. So we just keep doing those drop, 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 plop. Drop, 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 plop. Okay, so keep on remembering, stagger some up high, some down low, until you get all the way to the end of your page. Now when we're doing the raindrops, I want you guys pushing fairly hard with your crayon. You're actually going to see I make the mistake. My big hands don't fit crayons very well anymore. So I actually end up breaking my crayon in half because I was pushing too hard with the grip that I was. But you want to push hard, make sure you get that nice strong wax coating, so that way our watercolor doesn't seep through and we really get that rain effect, because it is awesome, you guys. Awesome. All right, you guys keep making those raindrops all the way across the page, and this is a great time for me to remind you that if you have yet to subscribe to this channel, make sure that you do so. One, it helps me to know that I am not just doing these art projects alone, that you guys are enjoying them along with me. And make sure you hit that notification button, because the second part is that means that you guys will be the first to know anytime a new project comes out. So you can make sure to be the first one to get out your supplies and create with me. Also, I love seeing your pictures that you make, so make sure to tag me on Instagram at Create with Miss Cristy, or follow us on our Facebook page, where I give parents tips and tricks to make art easier and more fun at home. All right, so we are almost done now. Hopefully you have been able to get your raindrops completed. All right, you guys, are you ready for the magical part? Because it is pretty awesome. All right, your next step, I want you to grab your water and paintbrush. Now, only with the water, I want you to cover your whole paper with water. This is what we call, when we're using watercolor, it's called a wet on wet approach. Makes sense, right? We're making our paper wet, and then we are going to use the wet watercolors over top of it. What this does, it helps our watercolors to move or spread, okay? I don't know if you can tell, but you can already kind of see where my white raindrops and splatter marks are, or splash marks. Next, you're going to pick up your blue paint. Okay, add some water to your watercolors, pick it up, and just drop it on there. See how it's already starting to spread out? That's that wet on wet approach that I was talking to you about. You're going to go over and just make some different blue spots all over your paper. The only spot I really don't put any on is on the rainbow itself. We'll just go over it with the brush when we're combining all of our colors. Now in the night, or in a rainy sky, I think of blues, maybe some purples, and some grays. So with that being said, first we're using blue, and then we're going to come in with some purple. Oh, see how it just kind of spreads out? It's almost hypnotizing, isn't it? It just kind of soaks into the paper. So fun. All right, so in between, get lots of purple in there. And just keep on adding more water, more paint, okay? More water, more paint. As we go and splotch it all across. Great. Good job, you guys. You're doing awesome. Now we're going to go in with our black, okay? We're not going to put quite as many black dots as we did the blue and the purple, because black can overwhelm a picture very, very quickly. And it can just turn everything kind of a mucky gray. And we don't want that. We definitely want to respect that there is gray in a cloudy sky, but not let it take over. So your next step is add a little bit more water to your brush, and you are just going to start blending all of those colors together. All right, you guys, this is where the magic starts to happen. Do you see those raindrops appearing now out of nowhere? And look at those splatters on the bottom. How amazing is that? I love it. So much fun. Are you guys enjoying this? I hope you are. You'll have to let me know. All right, so we spread. Make sure you get water all the way to the edges. If you need to add any more water to help things spread, here's a nice time to. Now, the next step I did, which I forgot to tell you about, is to hurry up and go run and grab a paper towel. So hit pause if you need to. And then you are just going to blot. You're not going to rub, but you're going to pat. Think pat, 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 pat. All over your paper. This is going to soak up some of that excess paint, get it off of our spots where there's crayons, and just give us, it's called lifting the paint away. We're just lifting all that extra paint and water off of our paper to give it that awesome effect. So we're just going to lift that paint away. Oh my goodness, you guys. I hope you are so proud of your work. I know that you guys did an amazing job today. I hope you enjoyed this project as much as I did, and I hope that you share it with other friends. Tell them how much fun you had creating with Miss Cristy, and that they should come create with me too. As always, you guys, remember, art time can be anytime. And I can't wait to create with you again here real soon. Bye-bye.